I've always had this voice in my head that would not stop repeating itself, and it said over and over again, Tristar, 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 Tristar. Move to Montreal. If you guys know what Tristar is, it's a martial arts gym, owned and run by head coach Firas Zahabi, world-renowned, best in the industry when it comes to MMA, or just fighting in general. The guy has a mind of a genius, and it's the home of GSP, George St. Pierre. Now, I looked up to GSP. I also looked up to Firas as a coach, picked his brain a lot. I've always wanted to learn it. But I knew this voice would just not shut the fuck up. It wouldn't stop repeating itself over and over and over again. Then after the lockdown basically ended in 2022, February 28th, I believe. I got a one-way ticket. I flew. I landed. When I landed, I did a class. And after I did a class, I was like, I want to live here. Mind you, I told my parents I was just going for a vacation, but I packed everything I needed just in case I needed to stay. I didn't tell them I was going to stay. My heart says I was going to stay, but I wanted to make sure, like, I wasn't like, you don't know. This is all just a dream and fugazi. You don't know what I was. I'm old enough to know that I don't know what I'm walking myself into. So I stayed in the Tristar dorms. It's not the most glamorous place. The minute I landed and I got in, I was just like, what the fuck am I doing here? The dorms was, no offense, it was just beat up. My parents are a bit pretentious. They're a bit classy in their own way. They're Iranian. If you know anything about Iranians, self-image is very important. Cleanliness is very important. So when I moved into the dorms, I was just like, this is just like not the prettiest thing. I even called in. I'm like, do you have pictures of the dorm so I can see it? And the guy's like, we don't have pictures. And I mean, that was, there's your answer. But the minute I stayed in the dorms, I kind of was just like, I gotta make this work. After I did the first class, I'm like, I want to stay here. So I'll never forget, when I moved to the dorms, I was like, I don't know anybody here. I only have money for 21 days. That's as much as I have. How can I make this work? 21 days for funds, and I'm staying in Tristar dorms. I need money, quick cash. So the first person I met his name is Jay. Coolest guy. Strongest Belgian I've ever met. Nicest guy. Just a genuine good-hearted human being. He walks in, he was supposed to like clean up my room. And the first thing I did is I cleaned the room for him, basically. Because I was gonna ask him for a favor. I was just like, dude, let me do your job so I can ask you a favor. And my favor was basically like, what do you guys do for jobs around here? I know for a fact most fighters don't speak English. So like, most people fighters don't speak French. So what? And I thought, my friends even told me before I moved to Montreal, they were like, oh, but it's against the law. You need to know French. Yeah, you do, but you don't need to know French to clean dishes. And that's what my friend Jay told me. He looked at me as if I was fucking stupid. He's just like, he pulled his phone out, and you always need a guy like that. Pull his phone out, and he's just like, look how many restaurants are around here. Around this whole vicinity, there's like 20, 21. And that's like less than a kilometer away from the gym Tristar, where I'm staying at, the Tristar dorms, where I was staying at Tristar dorms. So he's like, you can get any cleaning job, cast job, cleaning dishes. You'll find something. The turnover is so high in the restaurant industry. I'm like, you sure? He's like, trust. A lot of people who are from immigrants, Indians, Pakistanis, they don't know English. They just do dishwasher job. I was like, oh yeah, you're right. Everywhere around the world, they got them there. They got jobs doing that. So I was just like, okay, cool. So I put out 10 resumes, printed it out, staples. I went to this one right here, right behind me, that checkered white and black. That's actually a hotel restaurant. I'll never forget, I dropped my resume off to like 9 places. 3 of them said, yeah, we're looking, come back in a bit. But I said, I did 9. You know, I even had a lot of fear too. Even though I like did a lot of Uber Eats, I went into a lot of restaurants, I spoke to a lot of chefs. I even worked for a B2B company where I dealt with a lot of chefs. But in the end of the day, I just had this limiting self-belief that I don't know if they're going to get the job because, you know, I speak French. I was very, very, very nervous. I'll never forget, like, it was like an amplified level of fear. Like, it was like, whoa, this is kind of fucking weird. Why do I feel insecure about doing this stuff? Anyway, so I dropped 9 resumes off. 3 of them told me to come back. And And I said, I was walking home. I was happy for my progress. I'm like, Sam, no, like you can actually drop it off more. Why are you quitting now? I said, fuck it, Sam. You said 10, drop 10. So I went in. I dropped my resume off. I said, you guys looking for a job? They said, no. Okay. I walk out. As I'm walking out, someone just says out loud, just speaks out loud. The guy had like a beard, a hat. He kind of looked like the owner, and he was the owner. And he was just like, you said you're here to train martial arts? I'm like, yeah. He's like, what, here in Tristar? I'm like, yeah. I guess a lot of people know Tristar because it's literally just down the road over here. And then he's like, so how long are you staying? Long term? I was like, yeah, I just moved here. I have no other plans other than to train and fight and work. And he's like, okay, come back tomorrow. You got a job. And I was just like, this actually may work. Like literally within the first few days, I already have my first job. So like, and he said, just come back tomorrow at 4:30. I came back the next day at 4:30. But this was the job. After a hard training session, and you're doing something very boring, I was in the kitchen. There was no people coming in. So I was literally falling asleep in the back in the kitchen. I was like, fuck, this is tough. Not hard like physically, just like when you're physically on your training your ass off and you're not used to martial arts, it's such a new stimulus, your body's not used to it, then you're fucking exhausted. And I was already exhausted. I had to go to work and I was falling asleep like, this is tough. And I told myself, Sam, don't get comfortable. Just don't get comfortable. Keep looking for jobs. This is where you people do the mistake. Just keep looking. Even though you have a job, you don't know how many hours you're going to give you, you don't know if it's a good job, just keep looking. My friend Jay told me one thing. He said, don't walk into Marathon, Slovakia, which is also down the road over here. Literally a 2-minute walk from Tristar. He said, I have a job that's lined up for my friend. I didn't fucking know the restaurant's name. I forgot it. I just fucking walked into any restaurant. I walked in, I dropped my resume off, and next thing you know it, I talked to the owner. He said, come back the next day. He's like, how many hours can you work? I'm like, 16 to 20. John, his name is John. Love him, cool as fuck. Ended up training his sister, which is a whole different story. But yeah, I came back to the door and was like, GG, I got a job. He's like, where'd you get a job? I'm like, this place, Marathon. He's like, bro, I told you not to go in that fucking place. He was like partially pissed, but he's like, it's okay, don't worry about it. The guy didn't want the job anyways, but dude, like, watch out. It's like, fuck, my bad. So I got that job. And it was more hours. It was enough to make me survive and just like pay my bills at the Tristar dorms, but it still wasn't enough. It was like net sum. I was still doing a bit of online coaching, but no in-person coaching because like, you know, the lockdown was shut down. I was making like $1,600-1,700 just enough to scrape by. And then I just kept, you know, working. They started giving me more hours. Then I'll never forget, March 31st, last day of the month. At this point, I was supposed to pay for the membership. I already paid 1 month. And I'll never forget this part. I just was burnt out. By the way, I went to every single martial arts class too. I did not miss a class. I went to the roles, did the class while I was looking for a job. I told myself, because I'm training hard and because I'm tapped into my vision, I'm actually following through the steps that I wish I can. God willing, will show me the path. Most people put this job aside and the workouts aside. I need to look for a job. I didn't do that. I doubled down. Because I said, I'm going to be happier. My mood's going to be calm. I'm going to be relaxed. I'm like, imagine doing a hard rolling session at work and you're just super calm. And I was just so chill going to every fucking job. And no one was rude to me. Everyone was great. I was so positive going through it. And this is what I keep telling people. Like, why wouldn't you want to work out before fucking interview? Why would you put it aside? You're all fucking nervous and you look like shit and feel like shit. I didn't do that. I said, I have more than enough time to find a job. I just had to be super disciplined. And I was. And this is where things get very interesting. March 31st. Last day. I remember just 10 p.m. Head on the wall. Completely inflamed. My body's just beat up. Just like inflamed. I'm sitting down. Fuck, I don't have enough money for I just have money just to pay for rent and food. I don't have enough money for the membership. Literally the next day I had to pay for the membership. I guess to look for another job. I mean, I made it this far. It's not the end of the world. And I fuck you not. Like, just like a godsend. A guy comes up to me, his name is Kevin. He was a supervisor at Tristar, and he's just like, your name's Sam, right? He can walk straight up to me. I'm like, yeah. I remember you. You came here 2 years ago. This is before the lockdown. 2 years ago, and you dropped your resume off. I drove 6 hours in a suit from Toronto to drop my resume off, saying I'll do any fucking job. B2B sales, personal training sales. I ran a gym. I cleaned the gym. I did everything. My resume was overqualified. I told him, I'll clean fucking toilets. I just want to find a way to work. I trained at Tristar. He said, do you speak French? I'm like, no. I said, we need someone on the front desk. And he remembered that 3 years prior to that. And word forward, he came up to me. This is 10 p.m. last day of the month. He's like, are you looking for a job? A part-time job? We're looking for 5 days a week, 2 hours each of those weekdays to basically clean and set up the gym. I remember you had experience with that. I'm like, yeah. We'll also give you a free gym membership, and we'll give you access to the gym and train anytime you want. I'm like, so I can have keys to the gym, Tristar, and I can train at like 3 a.m. on a Sunday? He's like, sure. I'm like, it's not a problem? He's like, no. And at that point, there was no gyms that were open around here. And I get my workouts in super early, so I was just like, well, now there's Anytime Fitness down here, but at that time there wasn't. So I was just like, you're gonna give me a gym membership, give me keys to the gym, which is exactly what I need. I'll do the job for fucking free, and you're gonna pay me? So I got 2 part-time jobs within an hour, a month. Less than, and I 21 days of funds, one-way ticket. I made it work. I dropped my ego. I said, I'll do any fucking job, anything. I did not stop training. I actually doubled down my training. I became super disciplined because I said an hour a day of training, it's really more like 2 or 3. Even 2 or 3 is not enough to like just 24 hours in a day. You're telling me if you just around the clock, just 21 restaurants around you, you can't live for anything. When the job I got on Marathon, I was putting chicken on the stick on the back. It wasn't any fancy. It was minimum wage, nothing. I was super grateful. To me, I felt that was like the Ronnie Coleman. I don't know if you know Ronnie Coleman. He got like a free gym membership. The only reason he did bodybuilding because the guy in the gym basically told him like, I'll give you free gym membership if you basically just train at this gym. And he fucking took it. And he was really grateful for it. So I had that kind of like weird feeling to it. So if you guys are like worried about going all in on something, oh, just let me finish on this too. Like. And then after that, I was like, I can't live in the dorms. This is just too much. I found a place to live just down the road within a month. So I got 2 part-time jobs and a place to live just down the road. I moved out of the dorms within a month. I went up and down this street over here, Mountainsides, and I looked for every fucking place. I looked. It was five openings, 3 verbals. I said yes to all of them. I wasn't sure if they're gonna reject me or anything. I just said yes to every single one of them because I knew there was a process. So I accepted anything. I was willing to just sleep on the floor. I was grateful for that. I found a studio over here for like $600. This was like a couple years ago. $552. I saw this one guy. He said it's like $950, and I just went like, I don't even. It's actually out of my budget. But let me go see it. I told him yes to that too. And then eventually he told me, he's like, yeah, so just come by tomorrow and we'll give you the paperwork and you sign it, it's yours. And in my head, I was going to ask me for a credit check. I dressed up, haircut, everything. I was like, okay, he's going to ask me for a credit check. He's going to ask me for like references, employee, this and that. First month, whatever. Signed it. After I signed it, I'm like, don't you need my credit check or references? Like, no, we trust you. In my head, I'm like, so I got a place to live. Within a month, 2 part-time jobs, keys to the gym at Tristar, access to the gym at Tristar, a free gym membership at Tristar within my first month. It's 2 months. April 1st when I moved in. I'm like, don't have to pay first month. He's like, no, just we'll give you the keys. You pay when you move in. I'm like, I've never heard anything like this in my life. Again, a godsend. So I believe this was my path, and I don't think it means like I'm special. It just means I worked to a point of full commitment to the point where eventually, at the end road, doors opened up. I was just super grateful for my circumstances. I saw everything as an opportunity. I was not negative about anything. When I say negative, I wasn't like complaining about my circumstance. I was like, this is fucking cool. My back wasn't against the wall. There were certain times I was curled up in a ball in my bed, realized what the fuck I got myself into at a certain point. And I just snapped out of it. I'm like, this is what you signed up for. Like, what'd you fucking expect? But the fact that the guy, Kevin, remembered me after 2-3 years of dropping a resume, my dad's like, you fucking crazy. Just give him the guy a call, see if he's there. We're driving 6 hours from Toronto to see if the guy is there. Like, you don't even know if he's there. You drop a resume off once you wanted to be there, and guess what? It turned out to be the best thing I ever did. Because I trusted my intuition. I trusted my heart. I wasn't worried about like logic and all that shit. I didn't give a fuck about that stuff. So if you guys are like ready to like, you know, contemplating about the voice in your head about fitness or getting started or taking that leap of faith or whatever it is, sometimes you got to go all in. It's never really going to fit your timeline, or it's never really going to fit your budget. You got to figure out how to do it. When I signed that place where I lived, and by the way, I signed it when I signed it, I thought it was a 1-bedroom. I said yes so quick. This is actually pretty irresponsible. I said yes to it. I thought it was a 1-bedroom. I turned out when I got the place, it was 2 bedrooms. I didn't open one of the fucking doors. I was just happy I got a fucking place. I couldn't even afford it. I'll figure it out, and I did. It was actually above my budget by like $200, but I was like, fuck it, I'll figure it out. Just some motivation for you guys. Like I said, if you're like worried about your fitness regimen or your martial arts, if it's gonna commit or not, when you fully commit and you go all in, and when I say go all in, I was like literally all in. Like there's no cell phone distractions. When I say no, I mean literally nothing. If I saw my newsfeed on Instagram, I just swiped it away. My whole time was fully committed to looking for jobs, nonstop, and training. Just that's it. I didn't procrastinate. If I procrastinated laid on the bed for like literally a minute, I'll never forget because I tracked everything. Like my showers, I was like, I put my head on the thing for like 10 seconds. I'm like, Sam, this is a waste of time. That's how committed I was. I was aware that I was even doing those small little things, and then it worked out. So like I said, if you guys are like, I just feel like sharing a story for some of you guys who are like ungrateful for circumstances. You gotta remember, I just came from cleaning a gym right now at Tristar. Right now. I did not get paid to clean it on a weekend. No one told me to do it. My boss actually is not a fan of me doing it without getting paid. I said I just like doing it. I enjoy cleaning a gym at 3 a.m. on a fucking Sunday. Right now it's like I got in at 3, but like now it's like 4ish. No, actually, sorry, it's like 5. Sorry, I haven't really slept too, but I feel really positive and happy. I feel super grateful for just to be in this circumstance that I'm in. Just some motivation, like I said. I know sometimes people complain about the circumstances, but you gotta remember, I'm 34. I was cleaning a gym, one-way ticket. I slept on that floor in my condo for like 6 months, sleeping bag. Not even pillow, just sleeping bag. Empty unit. No furniture. 6 months. Just a sleeping bag. Literally. And a heater. Kitchen was empty. Rooms were empty. Living room was empty. No blinds. I had like a neck guard for like the cold. I wrapped it around my eyes and my ears, which was actually pretty great. And that's how I slept.